make sure that we're all muted. And we usually do have some balance components, challenges to class. So always feel free to have your chair or your wall nearby. And even if like getting up and down off the floor is iffy for you, you can always just use a little bit of assistance. Okay, there's no right or wrong there. And then we'll get going. Pretty much on time today. Yay. All right, so we're going to come down onto our backs. You can make yourself comfortable, whatever that means. You might put your blanket behind your head or just pad any body part that needs a little bit of support. And we'll start with the palms. Let's go low belly today. So both palms on the low belly, just kind of right below the belly button. So kind of pelvic area. And let's do knees bent, feet flat. Start to gently rock the head side to side, letting go of any unhelpful tension or tightness in the neck or the face. Invite the shoulder blades to melt into your mat. Let the elbows be heavy. And you can pause that head movement, and we'll find some comfortable stillness and bring our awareness to our breath, right? So today, see if you can intentionally breathe right into where your palms are on your low belly and fill up. Really nice expansion there, and then take a long exhale. You can get all the air out, taking your time. See if you can stay with your breath for a few cycles here. Filling up, expanding every time you breathe in, and then letting go. A little bit of deflation every time you breathe out. You can be breathing out of the mouth or the nose, whatever is more natural for you right now. Maybe you're checking in with the quality of your breath this morning. Is it flowing with ease or feeling more restricted? Awesome. And then when you're ready, you can just, you can always feel free to stay here as long as you need, right? If you need a few more moments of stillness, always feel free. But when you're ready for a little movement, we're just going to slide the hands down like an inch or two so that they're right on these two front hip bones. And maybe you take them a little wider, but I want you to feel into these as is bones on the front of your pelvis. And when you breathe in, you're going to tip your pelvis forward, and those two front bones move away from your face. And then when you breathe out, you're going to tuck your tail under, right? Good. And those two front hip bones move towards you. So super subtle, gentle pelvic tilting here. Inhale, tipping forward. Exhale, tucking under. And we're going to add the upper body to this in a second, but I just want you to familiarize yourself with the lower body part. And it doesn't have to be huge, right? It can be very subtle, just getting some movement into the pelvis. Okay, now take the arms out to a T. We'll do palms up, all right, to start. And then when you tip your pelvis forward, you can go ahead and do it, but then just hold it there. You have a little arch in your low back, okay? So that's our inhale, and you're gonna rotate your shoulder, elbow, and hand backwards away from you. So you're lifting your sternum and your shoulders get a little externally rotated. So you just lifted a lot of your spine off the floor. And now your shoulders, elbows, and wrists rotate in, your shoulder blades move up off the floor, your sternum drops, and you try to tuck your tail, you flatten your low back to the mat. Now see if you can coordinate these two together. So you kind of roll forward in the pelvis, back in the shoulders, elbows, and wrists, and then tuck under with the tail. So now your whole spine gets to flatten, and you can peel your shoulder blades off the floor for this internally rotated one. So see if you can coordinate this back and forth, inhaling when you tip the pelvis forward, exhaling when you tuck under still, but now you're gonna get the upper body motion as well. Yeah, and hopefully a bit of a stretch through the shoulders, maybe even the arms, maybe even the chest. Good, maybe two more. And if you're a little confused, that's okay. It'll come. It's a little bit of a body awareness practice. So sometimes it takes a bit. Awesome. And then grab a yoga block. I'm gonna grab our block here. It's gonna go right over the chest. If you don't have a block, you can use a book or you could just pretend, right? But I want you to think about pushing your palms into the block and then lift your knees halfway up. All right. So I'm gonna get rid of the cue or try to get rid of the cue to push your low back into the floor. All right. Instead, I want you to think about those two front hip bones coming together. And it's really just something you think about. Okay. And then that's going to light up your transverse abdominis, okay? As opposed to thinking about smashing your low back into the mat, okay? Of course, you don't want a huge arch, but I think drawing those two front hip bones together is probably going to work better than smashing the low back, okay? Great. Now from here, you take a breath in, exhale as you reach your arms back, okay? So if you can do that about 4 to 6 times. Inhale, they come forward. Exhale, they reach back. So we're exhaling as we lengthen our belly muscles. Yeah, exhaling on the eccentric part of the motion. Good. Check in with the face and the neck, right? We want that to stay pretty relaxed. Palms are pushing into the block. If you want more ab engagement, the knees move a little further from your face. Good. And then we're going to pause, okay? You're gonna open up the arms and drop the block. You don't need it for this next one. Keep your legs as they are. Okay, this is going to be like a long time to be engaging our abs. So we're really getting them warmed up. Now you're going to lift your right arm up, cross it over your body, reach your right hand towards your left hand, your right shoulder lifted off the floor, but your right hip stayed down. So we rotated in the upper part of the spine, and then you unwind, bring the right arm to the floor, left arm lifts up, left shoulder and head lift. Now you're reaching your left hand towards your right hand, but keeping the left hip on the floor. Okay. Now we're alternating back and forth. If your core is like over it, then just do this with the feet on the floor and take a little bit of a rest, but keep going with the upper part of the spine motion. Okay. And you're reaching for the hand as much as you can without letting the hip lift. Good. So now this is going to get our side body muscles and oblique muscles involved. Good. Let's do one more and then we'll take a nice rest. One more, really reach, unwind, feet make their way back to your mat. Let the belly soften, take the feet nice and wide, and then let your knees drop side to side. Let's check in with our windshield wipers today. So helps lubricate the hip joint, helps kind of relax or release the psoas a little bit. Yeah, and you can let the feet lift up as well as you go side to side. Great. And then walk your feet back in so they're about hips width. And then your yoga block is probably to one side of you so you can grab it. It's going to go right on top of the left hand as if you were resting a tray on top of the hand. We want the thumb not to grip or curl around the block if possible. All right. And we're going to warm up a bunch of things at once right now. So the right knee comes to chest, left foot on the floor, block or imaginary block on top of the left hand. And as you drive through your left foot, your hips lift, your arm goes all the way back, and then you roll your spine down or lower your spine down, and your arm comes right back over your shoulder. Okay, so see if you can play with this maybe 6-ish times, right? Going kind of slow. You can play around with the placement of your left foot. Higher isn't necessarily better with the pelvis in this shape. So really just think about connecting to that left foot, staying connected to the left glute and hamstring, right? You might get some nice length in the hip. Good. And you want to be coordinating this, right? So the hips go up, the arm goes back. Awesome. Okay. From here, we'll start with the hips down and the arm comes right back over the chest, right? So just a quick little rest. Now, drive through the foot and lift the hips. And I want you to pause here and straighten your right leg. And then let's do our ankle circles here, okay? You can always lower the hips down if this gets to be too much for this left foot or left leg, okay? So just circling the right ankle. Yep, go in the other direction. Right arm is down on the floor, probably for a little support. And then the movement, okay, you're gonna just start to lower your right leg a little out to the side as your left arm opens to the side. You gotta turn the block and then you come right back to center. So you like open the arm out to a T, right leg opens a little, and then comes back to center. I am definitely using my right arm here to help prevent me from tipping over, but it's probably not gonna be as big of a movement as you think, right? Because we're controlling it. Good. Yeah, definitely open this left arm to like a T. Okay, amazing. If your hips are still up, drop them down. Let's put the block aside. Let's take both knees in towards the chest and then take them nice and wide and start to circle the hips here. Yeah. So one knee is going clockwise, one is going counterclockwise. Nice job. And then at a certain point, you can reverse directions. Take a nice reset. Great. And then before we go to the other side, I want to get the inner thigh muscle, the adductor muscle, just to kind of engage a little bit. So take your knees, like start them over the hips like this, but then open them a little. Not a ton, but just kind of probably like a little wider than your shoulder width or shoulder width. And then take your arms inside your inner thighs and let's do palms against the inner thighs. So palms are pressing in out into the legs, and then just press your legs into your hands and take a few breaths, okay? So take a really nice inhale through the nose, fill up, and then exhale, push your inner thighs into your hands and see if you can connect to those low belly muscles here, okay? Inhale, fill up, exhale, push your legs into your hands. You might feel like your low back and your mid back get to really like press into the floor in a nice way. Yeah, and you're just holding this, right? It's just an isometric. Inner thighs and low belly muscles work together with the pelvic floor to create this contraction. Good. And then when you're ready, go ahead, we'll lower the legs down, take the arms to a T. And this time for your windshield wipers, do your subtle variation. So the subtle one is when you keep both feet glued to the floor. Big toe mound, little toe mound, and heel, right? Knees go right, head looks left. Knees go left, head looks right. And try to keep the whole foot on the floor. So this is hydrating for the discs and the spine, little bit of a different intention than the one we did earlier. Good. Okay, great. Stick your block on top of the right hand. You want to spread that palm out as much as you can. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. Feel free to use your left arm on the floor for support. You're going to drive through the right foot, reach the arm back, right? Keep that left knee in and then slowly, I would roll the spine down instead of just like lowering abruptly. See if you can actually go a little bit incrementally. Yeah. And with the block, right, you're going to have to flatten the hand when it goes back and then extend at the wrist as it comes forward. Good. Yeah, really nice coordination here. Great. We'll do one more. And then from here, you're going to drive through that right foot, lift the hips, straighten the left leg up, find your ankle circles, right? And for this little sequence that we're doing here, you can always drop the hips at any time, right? And then go ahead, do the ankle in the other direction. Yeah. So we're stabilizing quite a bit on that right leg, getting motion in the left ankle. And then when you're ready, you start to open the left leg, you turn the right arm, you open the right arm, and then they come right back to center. Yeah, we want the two hip bones, the pelvis, to stay in the same line. Like you don't want the left hip to drop as you open the leg, right? So because of that, you might not have that left leg going out too much. That's okay. Good. Yeah, really nice. Let's do one more. Great. Hips settle down. You can put the block aside. This time, let's do full body stretch. reach the arms back, legs long, take a really nice breath. And then last thing we'll do here before we change position, you're gonna lift the right leg up, cross it over your body, and do like a halfway roll just onto your side. And then without using your arms for help, see if you can actually reverse it and come back to your back. You might need to push off something for help, that's fine, but that's what we're working towards, right? And then the left leg lifts up, cross over, and you actually roll like onto your side, but not all the way to the belly, and then roll back onto your back. So if you can play with it a few times, and the intention here is to have the body be as relaxed as possible. Yeah, so very minimal effort. Sometimes you can get some really nice like adjustments or feel good spinal cracks here, or the body just can self-organize nicely with a movement like this, right? So it's like rolling onto the side and then coming right back, but leading with the legs. Yeah, great. And then go ahead, roll all the way over. We'll make our way into tabletop. So feel free to grab your knee padding and set up your blocks at the front of the mat as well. I want to do a couple of things here in table. So palms under shoulders, right? Knees pretty much under hips. And then toes will be untucked for the first few. We're just rocking the hips back. And then let your hips travel a little bit towards the floor, any amount that feels comfortable for you. Yeah. So you rock back and then hips kind of come forward and move towards the floor a little bit. There you go. Good. And you're just checking in with the joints here, right? Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, wrists. Good. And then tuck the toes under. Let's do a few like that. See how might feel a little bit different for you with them tucked. Great. And then I really want to work a little bit on wrist, forearm, hand strength today. So we'll do our wrist push-ups. Now, let's climb on our blocks and do them on the edge of our blocks. And if you don't have blocks, you'll just do them right on the floor. It's the same instruction. So you're going to be putting pressure in these 4 knuckles of your hand, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 little fingers, that's where the pressure goes. If you're on the floor, you lift your thumbs up, put pressure into those 4 knuckles, and you just lift the heel of the hand and drop the heel of the hand. You can have your shoulders further back. That will be easier. If it's too easy, the second you move your shoulders forward, you will feel a lot more work in those forearms. If you want to use the blocks, it's the same idea. You just come to the edge of the block, but it's a little more, it moves the forearm and the wrist through a little more range, right? Because you don't have to stop at the floor. You get to go a little lower. You could think of these as a calf raise for the forearm, right? Our forearms and our calves are sort of similar. And so this is like, yeah, calf raise for the forearms, where we call them wrist push-ups, all right? Trying to have equal weight in both hands, thumbs stay out of it, and you're just going up and down, probably be a little bit of a burn or a lot of bit of a burn. Good, nice job, just up and down with the heel of the hand. Great, and then round your spine, see if you can just come to a tall kneeling for a second. Let's swirl it out, give the forearms and the wrists a little bit of a reprieve. And we'll bring the hands, let's go back to the floor now. And let's see, left leg is going straight back. You're on the ball of the foot and you're pulsing the left heel back and forth. So possibly a calf stretch or just feeling like you're lengthening the calf, right? Heel's just pulsing back and forth. Great. From here, we are going to be lifting our right arm in a second, but before you even lift, see if you can drag, or they don't move, but imagine dragging your left hand and your right knee together. So that's just going to light up some cross-body connections for you. Then your right arm gets to go out to a T. And we're turning our head and looking at the right hand. Great. Now, shoulder, elbow, and wrist rotate in, very similar to what we did on our back. And then shoulder, elbow, and wrist rotate out and turn up towards the ceiling. So see if you can play with that, right? Try to get all 3, shoulder, elbow, hand, right? Shoulder, elbow, hand. So we're doing axial rotations here for this right arm. You got it. Let's do one more. And then you're sweeping this right arm forward and lifting this left leg up, push the floor away from you with the left hand. Let's do 3 breaths here. Still tensioning left hand and right knee together. We got our nice bird dog, right? If you wobble around, that's okay. That's part of the fun. And then right hand comes to the floor, left leg goes out to the left side, and then right back behind you. So see if you can play with this 3, 4 times. If you need to do it with the foot on the floor, you can just glide the foot on the floor, right? So my leg stays straight. Yeah, exactly. Now, plant the left foot down out to the side. So now my left big toe is in line with my right knee, and I'm here. Yeah, okay. And then from this shape, let's think how we want to do this. Grab a yoga block if you have it and stick it to the outside of your right leg. Yeah, right to the outside of the right leg. And then I want you to keep your right hand down on the block. You could also have your right hand on the floor. It's fine. It just might feel like a little far away. So maybe use a book if you don't have a block. Keep the left foot glued down, right? You're going to reach this left arm up, okay? And I want you to start to push into the left foot, and it's just going to engage these inner thigh adductor muscles a little, okay? So from this shape, you're inhaling and threading the needle, right? Reaching your left arm under your right armpit in your in-breath, and then exhaling and rotating the other way. Yeah, so you inhale, rotate towards the floor, reach your hand under the right armpit, exhale, back to the start. Now, option to keep doing this here, okay? This is a great option. It'll give you a nice rotation through your spine. Okay, option to tuck your right toes under and lift your knee up and do it like that with just the knee up. Inhale, thread the needle, exhale, come up. Third option would be to lift this whole right leg, okay? Inhale as you rotate under, exhale as you come up. Beautiful. Yeah, any of those 3 options are wonderful. Yeah, we warmed up our wrists and our forearms, so you can probably feel pretty confident to put a little weight in it. Good. Whether you had the toes up or the knees up or not, you're going to drop the leg down and then see if you can pull yourself all the way up. Relax the left arm down the left leg. Sweep the right arm alongside the right ear. Find your length on the right side body. And then go ahead, flow to the other side. Right hand comes to block. Left arm alongside left ear and a little leg lift with the left leg. And it might hover off the floor, it might lift all the way to the hip. You do you. Foot comes down, side body pulls you up, not momentum. Yeah, now you can really flow at your own pace here. Okay, you don't need to follow me. You can always feel free to linger in any of the shapes that feel good to you. Try not to send your butt back in space, right? Try to keep your hip pretty stacked over your knee. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Find the tension on the sides of the body here. Let's do one more. Good. On this one, you're going to pause with the leg up, and let's just take the arm here as opposed to over the ear. We're going to do our leg swivels. So let's actually start the leg on the floor and turn the hip, knee, and foot towards the ceiling. So it's externally rotated. Then you lift it up as high as it's willing to go. And as you turn it, the foot down, right, you bring the leg down. So you're swiveling at the hip, right? You can always take this block to a higher height if you need it. Hip, knee, and foot go up, right? Hip, knee, and foot go down as the leg goes down. So a hip swivel. Yeah, good. Now reverse it. So it's internally rotated when you lift, externally rotated as you lower. Yeah, so these might be a little unfamiliar. Even though we've been working on them, they still might feel unfamiliar. So just stay with your breath. Good. Nice job. And then just come on up to here, right? You're going to bring your left knee in to meet your right. Let's do some alternating arm swings here as our reset. Shoulders, elbows, hands stay pretty relaxed. And then palms get to make their way to the mat. Toes are tucking. Knees are gonna come to your hover, all right? Now, from your knee hover, rock your hips towards your heels. Stay as low as you can, which might not be very low, that's fine. And then hips are gonna go up and back towards the downward dog. All you have to do is start to straighten the knees and let the heels move towards the floor. And then let's shake the head yes, right? Relax the cheeks, relax the jaw, maybe shake the head no. And you can take just a few breaths in downward dog and hold still. Or if you like the feeling, you can lift and lower the heels a few times for some heel drops, we can call them. Yeah. Try to really check in with the face and the neck though. Keep them nice and relaxed. Great job. And then let's come forward to high plank. You can scooch the feet back a bit. Good. Now double heel pulses here. So heels are just going back and forth, rocking. Yeah, you can let your shoulders kind of travel over your fingers, explore that a little bit, load the palms. Yeah, and then both knees drop down, send your butt back, find a child's pose, maybe pillow under the forehead or hands down by the feet or shoulder stretch, arms forward. Reconnect to your breath, reset. Rock forward to table. Now right leg is going straight back. You're on the ball of the foot. We're pulsing the heel back and forth here. Find your calf stretch or calf lengthening. Nice. And then find stillness and start to imagine that right hand and left knee dragging towards each other on the mat, right? Nothing actually moves. It's just your tensioning. And then it's the left arm that goes right out to the side. We turn and look at the hand, and then it's the axial rotation, shoulder, elbow, hand, right? They rotate in and then they rotate out. Try to keep the neck and the face pretty relaxed. Try not to have the head down here, right? Pushing away from the floor with the right hand. And then left arm sweeps forward. It's in line with your left ear. We got about 3 breaths here just in our bird dog. We're trying to take the arch out of the low back if we can, right? So some of you, that means you tuck a little. Some of you are probably already great where your pelvis is. So you can always tuck and untuck a few times if you're trying to figure that out. Good. Okay, left hand comes down, right leg lifts, and it just swings out to the side and then right back behind you. It can be hovering off the floor or it can be gliding on the floor. Check in. Did you shift all your weight and your hip vary over to the left to do this? Or can you keep the hip parked over the knee? Just a good question. Good. So now your right foot lands, right big toe in line with left knee, yoga block on outside of left leg. Great. And then I would turn the block so it's like the long way, so you have plenty of room for your hand. Right arm goes up and the right foot gets to push into the floor firmly, right? And you're lifting up with your left side body. A little bit of a side plank variation. Now, as we inhale, we thread the needle and rotate towards the left arm with our rib cage. And then as we exhale, we open up. Good. See if you can play with that. And we really want the rotation to be coming from the upper part of the spine, if we can. So it's tempting to try to turn the pelvis towards the floor, but see if you can do your best to kind of counter rotate the rib cage and the pelvis. So it's a little weird, but you turn the heart down and the pelvis to the right. It's gonna feel like you're wringing out a sponge being the spine. Good. Now, if you took it on the other side and you like the idea of lifting a knee or the whole leg, you can do a few of those. Otherwise, you just keep going with the same thread the needle, right? You might notice you feel more restricted or less restricted one side to the other. I definitely am more restricted on this side. Nice job. If your knee or your foot is up, we drop it down. We're going to pull ourselves up, relax the right arm down the right leg, reach the left arm up, and then nice side bend here. Find the length through the left side body. Right hand glides down the right leg. And then we reverse it. Hand comes to block, arm comes alongside ear. You can lift the leg to a manageable height. And then the idea here is to use our side body muscles, right, as opposed to momentum to float back and forth. And you absolutely can move at your own pace, right? You do not need to be following me. Nice job. Everyone looks great. Okay, so we're parking the left hand back on the block. Let's leave the right arm so it's in a stack with the left. Okay, now turn your right hip, knee, and toes up towards the ceiling when it's on the ground. Then as you're gonna lift the leg, you keep it, but as you bring the leg down, you try to rotate the hip down towards the floor. So if it's cramping or it hurts or it's uncomfortable, do it smaller. Like yours might be like literally an inch up and an inch down, right? It doesn't have to be a huge range of motion, right? If it feels okay, you can make it bigger, but it's definitely an unfamiliar position, right? And then see if you can reverse it. So when it's lowering, the toes are turned up, and when it's lifting, the toes are turned down. Good. Nice job. Love it. Okay, you can bring the foot down. Let's pull ourselves up. Bring the right knee in to meet the left. Visit those alternating arm swings one more time. You want to be as relaxed as possible in the upper body. And hands float back down to your mat, right? And then as our reset, let's untuck the toes and rock the hips back to the left. So that would be like 7 o'clock, right? Back to the left, maybe get a little stretch in that left low back, left glute, and then rock forward to the right hand. And just stay at that angle for maybe 3 to 5 passes back and forth. And feel free to really load the right hand. If you need stillness for your reset, feel free to just do child's pose instead. Good. And then when you're ready, visit the other angle. So you go back to the right and then load the left hand. See what that feels like. Yeah. So now you're going back to like 5 o'clock. It would be, I think, unless my clock is backwards, but you know what I mean. Great. So we're in table, we tuck our toes, knees are coming to a hover first. See if you can think about dragging your hands back towards your knees. Send your butt back, you're good. And then all the way up, one more downward dog. Let the knees start to straighten and the heels sink towards the floor any amount. Relax the face, the neck, the head, and the jaw, right? Now we're walking our feet towards our hands at the front of the mat. And as you walk, see how long you can keep your legs on the straighter side for. Might not be very long, right? But at a certain point, you'll go ahead and let the knees bend. You walk all the way to the hands, right? Now, soften the knees generously, round your spine generously, heavy in the arms, right? Now, you keep the left knee bent and just bring your left elbow or left kind of back of forearm right inside your left inner thigh and push them together. And then as you push them together, you straighten your right knee and reach your right arm up. So it's like kind of this stretch for the low back on the right side. And then we add our nice rotation. Take a nice breath and then bend your right knee, connect back of right arm inside right inner thigh, straighten left leg, and reach the left arm up. So also your left hip, it goes a little behind your right hip naturally. You don't have to really think about it. Good. And then both knees are bent and we're heavy through the upper body. We're rolling up incrementally, one vertebrae at a time. Head will arrive last. And then just take a second. Let's just kind of shake out the upper body a little. You can kind of flick the hands, flick the wrists. Great. And then shift your weight. Play a little bit with weight shifting here. You can do it with eyes open or closed. You're just going over to your right side, load your center of mass over the right foot, and then over to your left side. I kind of like to close the eyes for it, but you don't have to. And just see what you notice, right? Where do you tend to put pressure in your feet? Is it in the heels, the ball of the foot? Are you unsure? Right? Just kind of take note and then see if you can turn this weight shifting into a rotation. So you go forwards, you go to the side, you go back, and then the other side. So you're basically rotating around the bottoms of the feet. And then you'll go in the other direction and you're putting pressure into all the different parts. So the whole heel gets a chance, the sides of the feet, the ball of the foot. We're just circling the body around the bottoms of the feet. Good, very subtly. Yeah. And then find a place that feels like center for you. Over, grounded, both feet. We'll sweep both arms up. Grow, grow, grow. Rib cage, imagine, lifts up off of your pelvis. Rooting down through the left foot, we side bend right. Today, we're gonna pause here and reach your right arm diagonally across your body. So the right arm leaves the right ear and reaches towards the left-hand corner of the room. We got 2 to 3 breaths here, right? So we side bend and now we get to rotate through the upper part of the back. Good, 3 breaths. Right arm comes back to right ear. Pull yourself up. We go over to the left, root down through the right foot. That's key. And then left arm crosses diagonally. You keep rooting down through the right foot and then just find your breath, right? Try to find some helpful tension on the sides of the body here. Left arm comes back. We slowly come up. We interlace the hands behind the head, elbows spread away from each other. Soft knees, okay? So soft knees, weight shift in the fronts of the feet. So light on the heels, heart goes up towards the ceiling. We're just holding and breathing here. Think of it as a front body opener or a lengthening for your abdomen and your belly muscles. Make sure the weight's in the fronts of the feet and that the knees are bent, okay? So you're kind of resting back in your hammock here. Nice job. And then when you're ready, you're gonna swing your arms back, sit back in your chair. And then today, let's come up onto our toes as we stand up, right? So you're sitting back in the chair and then standing up. It's a pendulum squat swing, or if we were gonna make it super yoga, you could think of it as a swinging chair pose, right? And we're lifting the heels at the end, okay? So that's a little bit of a balance challenge, but see if you can manage it. Good. Really, really nice. And then when you're ready, see if you can just slowly kind of let your arms start to come to stillness, but kind of letting the momentum just fade out. Awesome. And then we're shifting our body weight into our left foot, into the left foot. Yep. And you're going to come onto your right tiptoe and then bend your left knee. So you're going to sit into your chair, but you're loading your left leg. Yep, sitting into the chair, loading left leg. Good. Now, take your left hand to your left back pocket. Yep, left hand to left back pocket. Now, put your pocket back into your hand. So I want you to shift your hip back into your hand. Yep. Now, from here, you're going to take this right tiptoe and reach it back behind you. Stay loaded on your left side. Keep your butt pushing into your hand. And then take your right foot and tap it in front of you. So if you notice, my arm is doing the opposite. If you don't want to do the coordination and you don't want to worry about it, you can just do the leg. You step it forward and you step it back. Good. Keep pushing your glute into your hand forward and back. If you like the coordination work, arm does opposite of the leg. Good. It's a lot of work for this standing leg. You can probably feel it, right? This is what happens when we load all the way on one side. Amazing. Okay, last one. Step onto the right foot. Let's stand all the way up. Take a second, swirl it out. Kind of notice if you have any differences between sides. I imagine that you do. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you're going to shift your weight into your right foot. Bend your right knee. You're on your left tiptoe now, right? Left tiptoe. Good. Take the hand to the back pocket. I just find that helps the brain figure out where we're going here. And then stick your back pocket into the hand. So shift it back. Good. Now your tiptoe goes behind you, and then your tiptoe goes in front of you. And you can always use it to stabilize side to side here, right? You can really settle every step you take. You could play with speed if you wanted. You could go a little faster or a little slower. Good. Try not to drop the head, right? Try to Kind of pull the head back or keep it in line with the spine a little. Good. And when in doubt, just send your butt into the hand. Good. Love it. Do like 2 more. Perfect. And then you can even out the weight in your feet, stand all the way up, swim your arms up, grow nice and tall, soft knees, will swan dive forward, butt goes back, hands are planting down on your mat, and the right leg is going back to your runner's lunge. Blocks on either side of the left foot are a great idea here. Yep. Okay. So from runner's lunge, right? I want you to see if you can inhale and no, sorry, this is actually going to be the exhale. So just inhale here for a second, and then exhale as you rotate open, reach your left arm up, and left knee moves in towards midline. And then your inhale is a thread the needle here. So you thread the arm under the right armpit, and then exhale, rotate open. See if you can just explore that a little. Inhale, thread the needle, exhale, rotate open. Love it. Let's do one more. Yep, so another way to get the upper back some rotation. Great. Now you can plant your left hand down on the block, and your right heel is gonna pivot and drop towards the floor. So we're in our warrior 2 stance. Let's take a block with us, or imaginary block or book, and come on up to warrior 2. Yeah, okay. So block's gonna go up above, palms are gonna press into it. Add a little more of a knee bend to this left knee, okay? And then first, you're gonna lift your left heel a credit card distance off the floor. It's not very much, okay? Now keeping the credit card distance, see if you can just drive your knee forward and then pull it back to straighter. This is different, we haven't done this before in this shape, okay? So the heel is a tiny bit up. If your arms are too tired overhead, you just bring them to the shoulder. It's like 10 times easier, okay? But I want you to manage this so the knee tracks towards your big toe. You don't go crazy far. You're gonna feel a lot more load on that leg, and then you straighten the knee. Good, and the heel's elevated for it. Good, let's do one more. Great, drop the heel down, rebend the knee, and then you're gonna do a side angle variation where you go to the left side, load over the left leg, pull yourself up, and then reverse your warrior, but keep the left knee bent. And then see if you can flow back and forth a few times here. Good. Your range is your range. So you might just make it a little smaller movement. You're still gonna get a ton of benefit. So don't force your body to go anywhere it's not willing to go. Good. Okay, from here, bring the block down, probably shrug the shoulders a few times, will feel nice. And then we're gonna work on some shoulder pressing here, which we did warm up in the beginning in a nice way. So block rests on the right hand, okay? Now you're gonna straighten this front leg. Great, press your block up. Now shift your hips to the right as you glide your left hand down the inside of the left leg. So that's our triangle pose shape. And then you press your block up as if you were pressing up 40 pounds. And then as you come up, we bring it to the shoulder, right? You do your shoulder press and then reach the left hand back down. Good, so see if you can play with this. And we warmed up a lot of this side body pulling when we were in our kneeling position earlier, right? So hopefully it's not feeling too crazy. Good, try not to grip the block with your thumb. Good, nice job. We'll do one more. Awesome. Now your right heel lifts, okay? And you're gonna pivot onto the ball of the foot and face forward, okay? Now, I would walk your back foot in a little so it's not so long, and then make sure you're on train tracks and not your tightrope. The first part of our movement, you're gonna bend your back knee, scoop your tail under, right? Tail between legs, blocks going out in front of us, palms pushing into it. So the first part is a little bit of a lunge, right? You're gonna drop your right knee down and pause here. Now, just like we practiced earlier, imagine your left hand was on your left butt and you're gonna shift your hips back, As the block moves towards the floor, you're in a flat back. Okay, you untuck the tailbone, so it's a hinge. Then you just reverse it right back into your lunge, and then we're standing and reaching up. Yeah, unless your shoulders are tired, you could reach down, okay? So you drop into lunge, block is shoulder height. Yes, shift your butt back, that's our hinge. Good, butt up. Yep, back heel stays lifted. Shift back into the lunge, and then we come up. Let's do one more, okay? This is a great way to work on your brain's understanding the difference between a knee dominant lunge versus a hip dominant hinge. Yep, and then back to the knee dominant lunge. One last time, we reach up, grow nice and tall. Block can go in either hand. You're dropping your chin to your chest, rolling your spine down. Plant your hands to your mat. Right foot is back in your runner's lunge. Drive through those palms to reach your left leg all the way up and back. We'll rock forward one time. Draw the knee to the nose. Reach the leg all the way up and back. And then from here, we're going to lower all the way down onto the belly. So you can go from a plank, or you can drop the knees down first, but see if you can take your time, make your way all the way to the floor. And then once you arrive, we'll go right for pillow for the forehead. We won't even reach forward. Bend the knees, gently sway the legs side to side. Invite the breath, invite the energy, everything to settle. You can be super heavy on your mat. Let go of the thinking, efforting, striving for a few moments. We'll be back to it for the other side in a second. Good. Okay, legs long, tops of feet down, arms go out in a T. Your face is facing your left hand. So you're on your right cheek, left knee bends, left leg lifts, and then left big toe is reaching towards the floor. I would try to scoop your tail under here a little bit and then reach your left arm up higher so that instead of having it in a T, you're going to actually increase the length on the left side of the body. And you might even like find tented fingertips and find a little traction on the floor. That can feel nice. Find your breath in the left side ribs. And then we'll reverse it. Bring the left hand back to a T. Bend the right knee. Turn the head. Look at the right hand. Right leg lifts up. Right big toe now reaches towards the floor. Right arm can go up to a diagonal. That will just probably increase the sensation or the stretch here. Breathe into the right side body. Love it. We'll roll back onto the belly. Do a quick Cobra variation. So today we're going to bend the knees, kiss the heels together, and the knees have to open a little bit to then get the heels to kiss. Heels kiss, toes out. Yep. Then you just start to lower your feet like halfway to the floor and drive the heels together and lift your upper back, your head, and your hands. And then from here, keep driving the heels together. So think about that bra strap area. And then let's take the arms out to a T first, and then all the way back, palms pushing together. We're holding and breathing, and our head is looking side to side as if a plumb line was coming out the crown of our head. As you move your head, can you keep your face, your neck, and your jaw relaxed? That's the question. And then when you're ready, you can swim your arms all the way forward, relax the whole body down, and then we'll just shimmy or shake out the hips here. You don't want to have your forehead on the floor. You can put your blanket there, or you could actually do a pillow for your forehead with your hands instead. But see if you can dance the hips on the mat. Great. Okay, we're floating the hands next to the chest, tuck the toes. See if you can press yourself up and your knees down, push up. Just do your best. Yep. Rock the hips back once or twice. Great. Find your tabletop, tuck the toes, lift the knees. Hips go back towards heels and then all the way up towards a downward facing dog. Good. Check out how the down dog now is feeling as we get towards the end of class. Awesome job. We'll rock forward to a high plank. And then we'll drop the left knee down and step the right foot forward in between the hands. Set your hands up on your blocks if you can. Yep. And then you're going to lift your left knee up. All right. Left knee up. Great. Now we're inhaling here, exhaling, rotating right. Okay. Inhale, then thread the needle under your left armpit. Exhale, rotate to the right. And if you don't want to think about anything, then you can just try to find the movement. If you want to, you try to keep your pelvis relatively stationary and then just think about moving from the upper part of the spine. And that might change this or make it a little more nuanced for you. Good job. Right hand comes down to the block. Left heel drops down to the mat. You're in your warrior two. We windmill the arms up, but we take a block with us. Love it. Right knee is bent. Block can be up above. If shoulders aren't feeling it, block can be here. Okay, whatever you want. Now you're gonna lift the heel, the right heel, a credit card distance. And then you're just driving the right knee towards your big toe, propelling or pushing off the ball of the foot to straighten it. Yeah, just let the knee go forward. You'll feel a lot of load on the leg and then straighten it. Yeah, good. The heel doesn't have to be very high. Just keep that in mind. Good. We'll do one more. Love it. We'll drop the heel down, bend into the knee, and then see if you can, let's do side angle first, right? Lean over the right leg, pull yourself up, keep the knee bent, and then reach back towards your back leg. Good. Stay with your breath here. This is really your time to kind of feel into your body. Love it. Okay, so we'll come up. We'll bring the block to the shoulders, shrug the shoulders up and down a few times. Yeah, block goes to the left palm. Front leg gets to straighten a bit. You don't want a huge long stance for these, so maybe shorten the stance a little, okay? And then we'll press the block up, glide the right arm down the inside of the right leg as you shift your hips over to the left a little, and then you pull yourself up and we shoulder press. Awesome job. Glide down, side body pulls you up, and we press. With your press might be tiny, it might be to here. If you like don't like cracking, you can play with actually like where you press it up to, right? So just kind of explore that. There's no exact right way. We just always want to be pressing our arms up overhead, right? Got to reach the bowl from the top shelf without any issues. Awesome job. Okay, bring the block down, lift your back heel, the left heel, and then pivot and turn the hips like that. Good. And then set up your stance here. You want to feel like you're train tracked and the feet aren't too far apart. Find your little tuck of the tail. Now we get to do our lunge, knee dominant, right? Butt back, hip dominant. Your front leg moves towards straight, back heel stays lifted, lengthening the right glute and hamstring. Right back to lunge. And then we stand, arms up. Good. Lunge, hinge. Yep, you got it. Lunge, up. Last one, we'll just do one more. Nice job. Yep. Try to keep a flat back there. Last reach up and then drop the arms, drop the chin to the chest. Let's roll our spine down. Step back to your runner's lunge now. So the left foot has to go pretty far back. You're pushing through these hands to reach the right leg all the way up and back, three-legged dog. We round forward just one time, knee to nose, and then reach the leg all the way up. Awesome job. Let's come forward, drop our knees down, untuck the toes, and then options. okay? You can stay with your weight in your hands and shift your hips side to side here, and you just send your butt as far back towards the heels as you're comfortable, right? Everyone's knee and ankle, foot mobility situation is different. Alternatively, you could take your hands off the mat and let your hips sit down side to side like this, and have one more opportunity to kind of stretch and lengthen the sides of the body. Good. Nice job. And even if you sometimes can do the second version, but you're just like over it and you don't really want to effort anymore, then just keep your hands on the floor. That can feel more grounding, right? And then we'll shift the hips to one side, take the hands behind us and the feet wide. Just do some really gentle windshield wipers here in a seat. Yeah, feel into your hips and your pelvis. Starting to invite everything to settle and calm down now. Good. Awesome. Now we'll do a quick wide-legged seat scenario. Feel free to prop up your sits bones on your blanket or towel or bolster, pillow, something like that, just so that the pelvis can kind of tip forward a little. Yeah, great. And then we're just gonna do little pulses or a stationary static stretch. So why the options with that? So some of us feel calmer, or like it helps our nervous system calm down if we maintain like a low grade, gentle rocking. That can be really soothing as we wind down. Others are just gonna wanna come forward, you know, and like find stillness. And that's what you need to calm your nervous system. So it's a nice opportunity to kind of explore what you need. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing to angle. So turn to face your right leg, and you can either do the pulses like that, or you can just hold still and breathe. Find your stillness. When it feels right, go over to the left leg, and then same idea. Okay. So now we're changing the vibe a bit, right? Really trying to slow things down, letting the heart rate come down and the breath even out, coming back to some type of equilibrium. Good. And then let's just go to the top of our mat and take your time rolling your spine all the way down to the floor, right? So park the feet on the mat if you can. You might like hold your block, or imagine you are holding a heavy weight as a counterweight. And then I want you to take your time to roll your spine down as slow as you can. Yeah, incrementally. Good. And then once the head arrives, let it be super heavy on the floor. Just gonna reach the arms up and move the wrists around a little bit. Go front to back, right? Turn them in and out. You can play with opening and closing the hands, like making a fist and then opening, and then see what it feels like to circle them with the fingers like uncurled, and then see what it feels like to circle them in a fist. Yeah. Love it. Great. We're opening the arms now and crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. We're going to keep the left foot on the floor and just drive the right knee away from us. And then just let the legs topple over to the left and back to center, right? So everyone always wonders like, okay, is the right shoulder blade staying on the floor or lifting up? It's just going to be different, whichever one you do. You could see how it feels, like do one of each, right? I think it's probably a little more grounding to keep the shoulder blade down, but just see kind of what works. And then we'll melt a little in a bit of a twist. So you can drop the knees to the left any amount. You might need to prop something on a block, whether it's this knee and foot or your right shoulder, like anything you need to be comfortable here. And then we rotated, or we're twisting the lower part of the body, but let's turn the head to the right. And then just take a few subtle, slow breaths. So they're really not big breaths, is kind of what I'm trying to say. They're pretty mellow or smooth, calm. Taking a longer exhale can sometimes be very helpful for down regulating the nervous system. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly unwind. We'll uncross. We'll do left ankle over right thigh. Left knee drives away from you. And then you'll play with these little rocks. So the knees or the legs drop to the right. Maybe the left shoulder blade stays down. Maybe it doesn't. And then after a couple, you can let the legs drop to the right. And then let's go ahead and turn our head and look to the left. And while you're in the shape, you might just let your body, like, I don't want to say collapse, but you might just let everything totally soften and just let the skeleton kind of fall where it wants to. Or if it feels good, you might continually drive your left knee into your right leg. Okay, so you can play around with keeping it a little active or letting it be completely passive. But either way, just find your breath. And then feel free to go for a happy baby or any other position, shape, adjustment that your body is craving right now. Maybe you need a different spinal twist, or you need to go into an inversion right now. Whatever else you might need to feel complete in your practice. And then if it's comfortable, let's set up the same way we started today. Hands on the low belly. You can do legs long though, if that feels better, or keep knees bent, whatever you want, but let's go low belly, right? And then gently rock the head side to side for a little last bit of rocking, a little bit of rhythm, and then slowly let the rocking, slow it down until it stops. And then once it stops, see if you can invite the whole body to be heavy. Sensing your breath. Sensing the parts of your body that are in contact with the floor, the back of the head, backs of the shoulders. Tracing your awareness all the way down the spine into the back of the pelvis, and the backs of the legs, backs of the knees and the calves, all the way down into the heels. Maybe just sensing the pressure of your body on the floor. Take a few moments to just be. And just start to guide your attention back to your natural breath. Check in, what's the quality of your breath compared to when we started? If you just got relaxed and you have time, feel free to shut this off and continue resting. If you have something to get to, you can start to deepen your breath a bit. Wiggle fingers and toes. Start to rock a bit. Maybe you need full body stretch or knees into chest. Maybe you'd like to roll to one side and just spend a few moments there, curled up, nice and compact. And then as you feel ready, we'll make our way on up to our seats and we'll come together one more time. Reach up, 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 grow nice and tall. We'll float the hands down through heart center. Take a nice bow forward. Gratitude for practicing together today, for being healthy and safe. Thank you so much. Let me know if anyone has any questions. Good luck with all the snow. It was really